What is this brass cylinder with a half Pringle-shaped extension on one end and a flat closed-off side on the other? The metal handle can pivot on the side, and there's one small section on the side wall that looks like it could hold paper. I found it in an antique shop in upstate New York. It's about 9 inches long and 3 inches in diameter. The metal appears to be brass, with copper bands around both ends of the cylinder, clasping it in place. I have searched for brass and metal cylinders, light holders, and candle holders, to no avail. Any ideas? It's a Fireplace matchstick holder, made in Taiwan in the 60s. It's a brass cylinder in the shape of an old coal hod, with a scoop at the front. It was used to hold long safety matches for use in a fireplace or barbecue. The thing on the side is the abrasive striking material to light them. What is this antique steel clamping tool made of thick, heavy steel, approximately 3 feet long and 4 inches wide? No numbers or letters are visible on the item, and much thicker than you typically find on a modern item. I have not been able to find any information about this item so far. This was found in northern Wisconsin and purchased at an antique shop. Any help you can provide would be much appreciated. It's a trolling motor mounting bracket for a canoe, possibly from the early 1900s. Here are some of the modern versions. Adding a trolling motor to your canoe will allow you to keep your canoe in constant motion while trolling along and fishing. What is this metal holder? It is ornately decorated with plants, fish, and a bird on the top. There are 7 thin metal bars that attach to an attached oval base with 4 feet, about 6 inches wide and 7 inches tall. It's too small for holding mail, and there is no writing on it. Does anyone know what this thing actually is? It's a Victorian toast rack. It is believed that silver toast racks started to appear on the breakfast table in the 1780s as part of the general refinement of dining customs among the middle classes. The purpose was to keep the slices of toast separate, allow steam to escape, and prevent it from becoming soggy. What is this wood shaft with a metal collar and protruding bent metal rod? They appear to be quite old, possibly 1930s to 40s. I purchased them from the estate of a longtime craftsman, without knowing what they were used for. I thought they were interesting, and that I could repurpose the handles for a future restoration project. Any ideas? They are handles of a 2-man crosscut saw from the late 1800s to early 1900s. 2-man saws were known to the ancient Romans, but first became common in Europe in the mid-15th century. In America, crosscut saws were used as early as the mid-17th century, but felling saws only began to replace axes for felling trees in the late 19th century. What is this small thing looking like a zipper puller? I found it on a riverbank near a Chalcolithic and later medieval settlement. It feels too heavy for a zipper puller and looks too irregular to be machine-made. It is a roughly rectangular metallic object with intricate, irregular holes and grooved edges. There is something resembling a broken hinge on one end and has a greenish tint and no rust. Any ideas on what this could be? It's a hanger plate of an Avar's belt from the 8th to the 9th century. The Pannonian Avars, sometimes called pseudo-Avars by the Byzantines, were an alliance of Eurasian nomadic groups from the Asian steppes. In this way, they were similar to the Huns of the 4th to 5th centuries. Hanger plates with pendants were used on the wide part of the belt. These tiny pendants either hung below the belt or on the side of the belt and likely jangled. Most Avar-related items today are from belt sets, which were an important component of Avar's identity. Interestingly, based on the excavations of several thousand undisturbed Avar graves, only approximately 10% of male Avar graves contained belt sets. This likely indicates that they were restricted to a warrior or village leader class. What is this heavy steel cart and frame found half buried in my rural property in New England? The property was part of a farm dating back to the 1600s. They can't be that old because there are threaded bolts and welded seams. The wheels are about 14 inches, no markings, and each item is over 100 pounds. I'm not sure if the frame is related to the cart, but they were found together. Any ideas? It's a mobile power unit that held a hit-and-miss engine from the early 1900s. They powered pumps for cultivation, saws for cutting wood, generators for electricity in rural areas, farm equipment, and many other applications. They were a labor-saving device on farms and helped farmers accomplish much more than they could previously. What is this small plastic circle? Around 3.5 centimeters in diameter and 0.9 centimeters tall. I think it came with a vinyl record brush, but I'm not certain how I got it. I've done a Google reverse image search, but all I get back are barbel weights. I've also tried searching for a description of the thing plus the brand mesa, but since mesa means table in Spanish, I haven't been getting useful results. Does anyone know what this is? It's a 45 RPM turntable adapter. It is for playing a 45 on an LP turntable. It goes around your turntable spindle to fit the larger hole on 7-inch records. But in the UK, 45 had the same size hole as a 33, so we never saw these adapters, except in jukeboxes. What is this metal tube with a glass interior and a spring-loaded lid? Maybe 5 inches tall and weighs a couple of pounds. My wife's grandmother has had this for a long time, but isn't sure what this is. She claims it's about 100 years old. The top piece is a metal lid that comes off, and it has a spring in the top to help it latch on. The glass piece doesn't come out but does rotate around within the bottom metal piece. There is something inscribed on the bottom that looks like 2 crossed pistols with the letter EG. Any help is appreciated. It's an Apothecary bottle with a metal jacket, made in Germany in the early 1900s. The screw top cap is loaded with spring for better protection of the content inside the glass bottle. It probably originally contained harmful liquids like chloroform that can cause cancer if exposed. What is this round metal object that can be opened? I thrifted it and bought it just because I really liked the look of it. It is heavy, maybe bronze. It is a sphere which can be opened. And if opened, there is another sphere with a tiny hole. I tried Google Lens, which brought me to similar objects, but I did not find anything about its former use. Any ideas? Please tell us in the comments. Thanks for watching. Let's make life fun.